What is going on, guys? Scott and Kyle here with the Never Hedge podcast with a very special guest today. We got Tommy D from the Traxx NFT project. How you doing today, Tommy?
I'm very well, sir. I'm very, very well. Thank you so much for having me. You join me in my box room in my house, which is where I'm sort of in, because the studio that I have in the house is being used at the moment. So I've come up to my box room to do our chat. But yeah, great to see you guys, and thanks very much for having me.
Yeah, it's good to have you on. We're excited about your project for sure.
Yes. So for those who haven't heard of Traxx, could you just briefly describe what your project is for everyone real quick?
Yeah, it's an ecosystem, kind of like a marketplace for NFT marketplace. It's basically designed to be across the board for every kind of music need. Whether you are, we have a concept that we call the 3Cs. The 3Cs are creators, collectors, and curators. Curators, obvious people like myself, make music, songwriters, producers, musicians. Collectors, we all collect music. Mm-hmm. We all believe in music. Some music we love more than others. And then there's this middle ground, this curation side, which is a kind of filtering process. You know, you got 60,000 tracks going up on Spotify every week, if not every day. You know, how do you decide what goes on? And the curation part of music is, I think, what separates music discovery and engagement from everything else. And so when I came across NFTs around about a couple of years back, you know, first of all, I kind of, you know, I saw the CryptoKitties thing and I thought, oh, this is quite fun. And it was quite good because the CryptoKitties was kind of, it was quite silly, you know, and I think it was quite good for a bit of silliness to come into crypto because it was all a bit too serious, taking itself too serious.
Right.
But it didn't really, penny didn't really drop for me as to how powerful this thing that was behind the CryptoKitties. And it was only when I really started to read up about it and really understand, you know, the tech around what an NFT was, that of course, you know, because I've been in the music industry for 25 years, I realized that there was such a huge connection and such a kind of seismic thing that was happening here. So yeah, and I went, okay, and I started writing down my ideas and walking around with it. And you know, I'm a music producer and a songwriter, so often when you're making music, you walk around with it in your head. Right. You're kind of singing it, you're thinking about lyrics, and you so I kind of just did the same thing. I approached it like I was writing a song, and I was like, what would I want from this? How could I do it? Where could we go with it? And that was when the concept of having this really interesting ecosystem where everybody kind of benefited and worked together to just lift the whole ecosystem up. That was where I came up with the concept of Traxx. And then literally we've been developing it for best part of about 14, 15 months now.
That's awesome. So what kind of music are you into?
Well, you know, I believe there's only two types of music, country and with no, I believe there's only two types of music. You know, it's like good and bad.
Right.
That's it. You know,
Right.
It's like I got into music because when I was a kid, you know, music started washing over me, and I was like, how did they do that? How did they make that sound and that collection of sounds that makes me feel right now like I belong, like I'm connected, like I'm in the right place? You know, it's basically defining my emotions right now. How did they do that? You know, I thought I was alone here, and I'm not alone. And that's one of the beautiful things I think about music is like it joins us all together. It's got this kind of brilliant way of joining us all up. And so for me, you know, I went, right, I need to learn about this. And I immersed myself in music and listened to everything I possibly could, and found, you know, that really, like I said, there was a music that really connected with me and touched me. And then the music that kind of just didn't really do anything. And I started reading up a lot about the background of music and the producers and the engineers and the performers and the labels and the you know, mastering and all these incredible stories that go on around music itself. And I just fell in love. I just fell in love with the whole thing and started making music myself, and you know, bought some equipment and worked in a music shop and you know, bought equipment cheaply and that kind of stuff. Built a studio, and then really just started making music in my own, like most people do in their own kind of bedrooms. And then I got into playing in bands. And I'd kind of sort of like that, but didn't really. I like being in the studio. It was like I could formulate all these kind of things, you know. And then, you know, I started DJing, and that was really when everything kind of opened up for me, because I could take music out, play it. I could come back with other tracks and kind of go, how do they, you know, dissect them and work out how to do it. And then it just exploded from there, really, for me. And I got lucky. I worked with a bunch of different artists, and then I started having hit records, and then it all just went. And then I've just been working with incredible artists, big and small, ever since. You know, people like, well, Kanye West, Jay-Z, Beyonce.
Oh, wow.
All kinds of crazy people. I'm just going to turn my thing off here, because it's really annoying, isn't it? And I apologize.
It's all right.
That's okay.
That's my emails going crazy. So it was really, you know, and then what happened, ironically enough, was I started working on my own material again. I kind of went full circle, and I started working on my own stuff, and met up with another guy called Jamie Scott, and we created a group together called Graffiti 6, and we started making music together. And then, ironically enough, I got signed to EMI Records in Capitol in America, and started touring again. And you know, as I sort of stopped touring as a DJ and then started touring as an artist. And that kind of led me where I am today.
That's wild. That's wild. So
it is pretty wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's I haven't even told you about the whiskey, man. I started my own whiskey company back in 2015. Yeah. I wanted to create a whiskey for nightclubs and festivals and my world. I didn't think there really, you know, apart from Jack Daniels, there wasn't any whiskey that was doing it. So I created a whiskey called 808, which is named after the classic 808 drum machine. And it's great whiskey. I'll have to try and get you guys a bottle.
Yeah, I'd love to try
send them over.
And what's interesting, Scott, wasn't the we had the guys from Bitlectro Lab, the Dreamers NFT on.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's a DJ too, I believe.
Yes.
One of the creators is a DJ.
One of the creators is a DJ, and the other one's in the band called Starfucker.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
no, sorry, carry on.
I was gonna say, so their NFTs, each one has their own like unique playback track associated with it that's, you know, generated from a set number of beats. So it's kind of crazy how they are blending the kind of almost animated like a GIF, where it's got, you know, subtle animations in there, and then also unique beats along with it. So what is this the first project that you've ever worked on in the NFT space? Or have you worked, or has it just been whiskey before this?
Do you know what? This is the irony of it, right? Okay, so I first discovered Bitcoin back in 2011, I think around about then anyway. Did I buy some? No.
Of course not.
I discovered NFTs 2 years ago. Did I buy any? No.
Of course not.
I didn't there's a part of me that jumps over the bit about should I buy these things for investment, and just looks at the kind of the bigger picture, where it's going, who it could be, and how it could. And I think that's the thing. And actually, when I first, you know, when I sort of got, my immediate thinking was not to do my own NFT project, but was to do an NFT platform, because the NFT platform concept meant that I could define how projects and help artists that wanted to come on board to define these projects, help them and handhold them and build a team of people that could do it in a way that was really kind of, you know, that was right for the regulations, that was right for the legalities. You know, there's a whole load of Web 2-esque concepts around royalties and all that kind of stuff that does need to be appreciated and respected, because they're law, and you know, they're law for a reason, because for people like me, to protect people like me and my intellectual property. So there was, I wanted to try and find a way of doing all that, and that was the concept of doing a platform as such. That's when that kind of really kicked in. The idea of doing my own NFT project, ironically enough, didn't really come to me until I thought, because I think I was always looking to do my own project, like something really cool and something different and whatever. And then I started formulating an idea for a project about 6 months ago, ironically enough, with my ex-partner, my partner in my band Graffiti Six, and we've got something coming. I'm not going to tell you when, and I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's fucking blow your mind.
Excellent. So
Love it.
So would you consider Token Traxx more of like, would one of the functions be to be like an incubator for other artists to kind of help them with their own projects, as more like how Spotify is the platform that the music is listed on? So is that more along with what you guys are trying to do here?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. I think that there are two key things that we need to do as an NFT music community, right? Mm-hmm. The first one is to build a new system, because this system that's out there with streaming and it's broken, it's messed up, right?
For sure.
But it's huge and It's very powerful and it's all consuming. So we can't ignore it completely. But if we can build a new system so that independent artists can come in and they can do NFT projects around music in a way that builds their community, builds their, gives their community some benefit, which they've never had before. And this benefit, of course, is then tradable, as we all know with NFTs. That benefit is then tradable. Well, then this is a new system that can generate what I call a living wage. Now, a living wage, I think in most, Western communities would be somewhere between 50 and 100 grand. And that, if you can concentrate on your 1,000 true fans and bring them on board and build a community around them, that each one of those is generating somewhere between $500 and $1,000 a year in NFT sales and contributions. Well, then you're looking at 50 to 100 grand a year as a living wage. Right. So if we create that system, then you've got new artists that come into the scene that are like, well, what should I do? I want to sign to a major, but no one's signed. It's difficult.
Right.
Oh, hang on. There's this NFT world, and I can come in there and I can build that. And of course, if it blows up, you go and get signed to a major, and maybe that will give you more exposure or whatever. But the irony is you're more likely to make more money in the NFT world than you are ever to be signed to a major. So that's the first thing. The first thing is to build a new system. And I think we all agree that Web3 tools are incredibly powerful, have total opportunities that one can do with NFTs and blockchain in general. They're incredible. I'm a total blockchain advocate. I believe in it 100%. I bought into the Kool-Aid, I absolutely believe that that's where we need to be going. So my goal is always to drive everybody into crypto in general to grow that scene, because I believe in true financial freedom and I believe in true creative freedom. And I believe blockchain is the way to get that. That's the first goal. The first goal is to build this system. The second goal is then to take this legacy system, is to take the major labels, the major publishers, and to look at ways of integrating them into the NFT and how they can integrate with the NFT world. So you've got major artists that are maybe a new artist that's coming through. You've got a big star like that wants to manage their fan club and their true fans, and then you've got historical artists who maybe are even retired, maybe not even alive anymore, but historical catalog that also deserves to have some element, of NFT that could be built around it. So it was always my vision to create a platform that would incorporate all of these kind of areas, and then they could all work together to kind of bolster this and drive more and more people into crypto. That was always my vision, and it still is.
That sounds really cool, and I could even see the majors companies, like you were saying, going this way too in the future. Yeah, you're just first to it. First one I've heard with some kind of a platform like this with using NFTs. Right.
Yeah, I think that you have to remember that 92% of all top 10 records look out there, it just shows me. Top 10, like hits of the last 20 years are on one of three majors, and you can't ignore that. So instead of just saying, "Hey, fuck you," whatever, fine, you can do that. Right. But what's better is to work with them and ease them, and on our terms. That's the crucial thing, on our terms, into this space, because we don't want them coming in with their big boots and treading all over this beautiful thing that we're building here and messing it all up, which they inevitably will do if we leave it up to them. What we need is platforms like Token Traxx that will encourage them on. And to that end, one of the first people that I spoke to, was a guy called Miles Leonard. Miles Leonard is the ex-CEO and chairman of Warner Music and EMI and Parlophone. He oversaw the careers of Coldplay and Gorillaz and Kylie Minogue, and very good friend of mine for years, retired from the major world, looking for new and exciting things. And I said, look, I'm taught him all about NFTs. I taught him all about crypto, and he fell in love with it, like we all do. And I got him on board because he speaks the major language. He understands it. He was in that world for 25 years. And it's crucial that you have these narratives going. Yes, there is the crypto purists that just want everything to stay pure. I'm sort of in both worlds. I'm in both worlds, which is, I believe that it needs to grow, and it is growing anyway. I mean, it's growing. So how do we control that growth? And I think people like me and you guys and other people in this space, we've spent our life, or certainly the best part of the most recent part of our lives, really devoting our time and energy to understanding this space and talking to people in it, and really kind of engaging with them and really understanding the intricacies of this space. And I think that's crucial when you then go and talk to a big monster like a Warner or a Universal.
For sure.
And anything that can empower independent artists, where maybe they don't have to sign with a major record label right away. And because I think it was Jewel, I remember hearing an interview with her where she was talking about how much the record companies take from your actual, music sales. And so you're getting, as an artist, you're getting a tiny piece of this. And I'm sure it's even less with platforms like Spotify and, even YouTube, where people can just go listen to your music for free and then maybe make some money off ads. But Spotify, I think you get like 0.001 cents per stream. So people are not making the kind of money they were even 15, 20 years ago off of record sales. So anything that can get people, financially independent from the record system is definitely going to be, you're going to have no shortage of people who are looking to do that, essentially.
I mean, you're absolutely right. You're hitting the nail on the head. What we have is a perfect storm of a historical industry, music industry, that's based its extremely one-sided contractual obligations with artists on ancient technology, technology, which is effectively albums, physical product that needed to be delivered somewhere, and then you've got the tech, the Web 2 tech worlds, the Spotify's, the Apple Music's, the YouTube, who are the worst, I hasten to add, who have then taken advantage of that situation, because what they've done is and particularly YouTube, is they flatten all intellectual property into the same kind of level.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Which, because you're driving engagement to their platform, their goal is to get you to come to their platform. Right. So they were using laws, loopholes in the laws that would allow them to play their music for very little money. You mentioned the streaming rights, and it's very important to understand that. I've got up some figures here. For example, the best streaming platform for earning money is ironically Napster, that pays pays 0.19 per stream.
Okay.
And then Spotify, for example, pays 0.04 of a cent per stream. And the worst, of course, is YouTube, who are the devil, in my eyes, always, and the eyes of most music people. And they pay 0.0006 of a cent per stream. So you're absolutely right. Now, if that money then goes back to these legacy artists, or artists that have got these, contracts from, say, 10 years ago that they even signed, then of course you just do the figures. It doesn't matter how many streams you get. You're always going to end up with very little money.
Right.
And so our role within Token Traxx is to do what we call flatten the pyramid. flattening the pyramid is the music businesses are kind of a bit like that at the moment. You've got the top 5% that are making more money than ever. You know, the Adeles and the Ed Sheerans of this world are making more money than ever, and that's, you know, incredible, fantastic. But then it goes very quickly down, and that's where the problems lie. If you're an artist that's getting, say, 1 million streams a month or something, you know, you're earning probably less than about $1,000, maybe less than $1,000 a month.
That's crazy.
Right.
That's crazy.
You know?
And especially the last 2 years with in-person like concerts and stuff like that are, you know, a lot of places are limiting attendance to 50% or less, or even scrapping in-person events you know, entirely. This is definitely something that's long overdue. This platform
totally.
here.
I mean, COVID has decimated live scene, you know. So we need to, there needs to be a new thing, a new system, and that's why, you know, I'm pushing very hard for blockchain and NFT to be that thing, because I can totally see it. I felt it the first time I ever saw the internet, for example, when I was a little kid and I first saw the internet. And even then I realized this is going to revolutionize shit. I felt it when I saw streaming. I thought this is going to revolutionize shit. And now I feel it with blockchain and particularly around NFTs.
And especially, I don't think you'll have plenty of creators wanting to come for the money aspect. But also I was thinking of the collectors part of your project, and the kids now, like, we still talk about it. What's your first album you ever bought? What's the first CD you ever bought? Kids today don't have one.
Right.
But if you have an NFT, that could be their CD or album. What's the first NFT music track you ever bought?
Right.
And I think that could be a very cool way to get collectors back into it, into the music scene.
It's a really, really good point. Because what it goes to the heart of is value. Is where's the value in music? The zeitgeist is this, right? We've gone continuously down from, you know, spending money on listening to music, all the way to the point now where we don't, you know, you don't have to pay anything to listen to music. And we were in one of the golden periods, probably the best period ever for music discovery. I mean, it's, you know, I love platforms like Spotify and Apple Music and Tidal in particular, because the quality is amazing. Finding music and sharing music, it's incredible. It's just not very good at paying for it. It's not very good at paying the creators who actually make it. So how do you bring value back to a community of people, to a world that is used to getting music for free? How do you bring value back? You bring value back with a product like an NFT that allows them to make money off of their early stage discovery. So they're finding early artists. They're finding a young Ed Sheeran who's just coming through, you know, and they're and they're like, I'm going to do an NFT project. I'm going to sell 10 of my songs. And so, you know, half my royalties in 10 of my songs, because I need some money to go on tour, you know, and it's like, cool. And then 5 years down the line, he's Ed Sheeran and he's blown up. And those, you know, those 5 songs that he sold NFTs are worth, you know, millions. So that's how you connect and bring value back. And the point you make about that is exactly right. The industry, the music industry, what it does is define value. It's always has done. That's what it's been really good at. It's gone, you know what, you should buy this and you should buy the extra thing. And in fact, you should buy the t-shirt that comes with it as well. Oh, and guess what? They're going on tour. So maybe you should buy a whole ticket for all the tour. You know, that's what the music business is really good at doing. And it's fallen off a cliff. And to be fair to it, you know, when we had peer-to-peer file sharing and illegal downloading and all that kind of stuff, it hit everyone for 6. And, you know, including myself, you know, I was making very good money as a jobbing music producer and songwriter before that period. And then we all just like suddenly overnight saw, you know, our income, like, not more than half, you know, like 10% of what it was. So the industry took a bash, and I think, you know, it went for whatever it could. Streaming was a good way. Sorry. That's my alert to tell me that my team, Tottenham Hotspur, are going to start in half an hour. So we've got 30 minutes.
All right. Yeah, but I think the entire, like you were saying, the entire music industry has become, like, essentially a race to the bottom where, you know, people are giving their music away essentially for free, so then nobody values it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean,
so like you're saying, you need to bring value back into the music.
Exactly. Forget music for a minute. Just think of anything.
Right.
You know, it's like, how do you define what's important to you? What is gonna, you know, what are you gonna treasure? What is going to mean something to you? And the ironic thing is that music, we treasure music probably, you know, all universally as much as anything else. You know, your first kiss, your first dance at the wedding, the song you play song you sing on your birthday, happy birthday. You know, the song you make love to, the song you do the washing up to. I mean, you know, you got your car and you got your car playlist. You know, music is an integral part of our lives, and that's the listening concept to music. So how do we bring that value back again? How do we bring that value back to the jobbing musician, whether it's the jobbing musician or whether it's the songwriter or the producer or whatever? How do we bring that value back to them? NFTs are the answer. NFTs become the product. Your stream is your calling card. Your NFT is the product you sell. And that's where we're going. And that's what makes it so exciting.
1000%.
I love the idea you said of being the first one to find somebody. Like you still hear people say it, like, "Oh, I knew about Justin Bieber on YouTube when he was whatever."
Right, when he was 11 years old.
Yeah, that and there's going to be so much value in that. I love that idea.
Right.
Yeah, and I think what it does is we always remember where we heard things, like the first time I heard this, the first person that shared that with me, and the person that shared it with you or told you about it becomes their status. Becomes important to you, you know. It's whether it's a friend or a DJ that you love going and listening to, or playlists that you follow, or whatever. That concept of sharing music as well, and then the share itself giving that person the status, you know, becoming a key person that knows about the quality of death metal or, you know, German trance or whatever. You know, that in itself is key, and that's another whole realm of income stream that's actually hitherto never really been tapped into, that we in Token Traxx are intending to do that. You know, we're intending to support those curators that find music.
That's awesome.
So how can people find more info on the tracks?
On Token Traxx. So tokentraxx.com, it's TOKENTRAXX.com, 2 X's, 2 kisses for love, because of our mutual love, bringing 2 kisses together.
Love it.
So mutual love of music and sharing. Tokentraxx.com. You can also go to Tommy D, my website, one and only Tommy D with number 1. You can go to that and find all the links there as well. And come and join the guest list, because we have just announced our TGE. We're doing a Traxx token that's going to be at the heart of everything we do on Token Traxx. We've just announced the TGE for that, which is going to be on the 14th of March.
Nice.
It is essential for those to get on the guest list as soon as possible, because we're doing something around how quickly you get on it. So it's essential that you get on the guest list at tokentraxx.com. That will register you, and that will give you a chance to get in early at our TGE.
Awesome.
Well, you will definitely find me on the guest list.
Yes, same.
Yes, my brother.
All right, Tommy. Listen, thank you so much for coming on with us, man. We're gonna be watching this one.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. All right, take care, buddy.